celebrating 20 years of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible.
This is Anything is Possible. My name is Halloran Hilton Hill, and these are great stories about great people whose lives prove that anything is possible. And I want to say right off the top, the star of the show is possibility. Like, could you imagine what your life could be if you become the best version of yourself and then leverage that to make somebody else's life greater? And we get to tell stories of great people who have done that, successful in business, successful in community, successful in their families. They really kind of lean into leveraging their life to do great things. So I'm glad you're with us, and I hope you will not only stay with us through the conversation, but I would recommend that you grab a notepad, because most times you will find that there are some gems that you can hang on as you imagine the possibility for your life. I have a great friend and guest to kick us off today, Stan Johnson. Stan, welcome to Anything is Possible.
Thank you for having me. This is fantastic.
The first person that ever told me that I was a superstar was a Jamaican woman at a restaurant. She said, "Alri, look at you, superstar."
Superstar. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. You're from Jamaica.
Yes, sir.
Take us back to Jamaica.
Wow. So Jamaica's a wonderful place. I was born there, lucky to be in a great family. Wonderful people loved me. My mother's from the swamp area. My dad's from the mountaintops. They met and moved down to this little city called Black River. It's the longest river in Jamaica. It's on the south coast. Very few what I would call foreigners ever visit down that part of the country. But it's where you can really see the third world really peeking out. This is where you really understand what poverty really is.
Really?
Yeah, man. I mean, little straw huts and, of course there are houses and wonderful things, but you can see where the poverty really lies.
What did being in such proximity to poverty do to you and for you?
Well, the biggest thing, it told me that this is the bottom. You can't do anything from here but go up. And to be blessed to be in the family I was in, my father actually came off to America to pick fruit and cut sugarcane. That was big for us as a community, because he not only just took care of himself, he took care of his mother and his father, and then he also took care of my mother and her family as well on that journey.
Did you pick fruit?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't no babysitters.
What was that like, working with your hands, being outside?
My gosh, rough.
What did you pick?
Well, so we picked oranges, grapefruits, and limes in Florida, and then we went up and down the East Coast. So by the time we got to New York, we picked pears and apples and cherries and all that kind of stuff. So you name it, we've picked it.
What was a day like?
So you get up about 4 o'clock, get some breakfast fixed, to get to work about 5:30 before the sun comes up, because in Florida it gets really, really hot really, really fast. So if you're out there and you're got a sack of oranges around your neck and you're walking with that thing, you're really dealing with that heat about 7:30. So it's about 90 degrees, 7:30 in the morning. You're walking around with a 90-pound sack of oranges around your neck, trying to fill up this bin of fruit that it's going to take you about hour and a half to finish picking that bin.
How'd you feel about yourself doing that?
I was horrible. I mean, but it was better, right? It was for the betterment of the whole family. It wasn't just for me. I got 4 brothers and 1 sister. We was all out there together, picking fruit, making sure that the family got to eat, because we knew we had to send back money back to Jamaica to make sure everybody was okay.
Man, that's deep. And I bet you that informs everything about your life.
Oh, pretty much.
Say more.
So when you're coming from a third world nation and you hear about America, right? America is this great land of opportunity. It's this place for the brave and the strong and all that kind of stuff. And when you get here, we landed in the projects, right? So it's the worst place in America for most people, but it's the best place for us. We didn't even have hot water where I came from. Here I am in the projects with hot water. My mother had to tell me, don't touch that one because it's gonna burn you up, right? And then being able to understand that anything's possible was kind of interesting because only people had ever told me that things weren't possible were like the adults, right? And one of the things that wasn't possible is because of your skin color, which is weird to me because where I just came from, everybody was black. My president was black, my doctors are black, my teachers are black, my police officers are black, my firemen are black. So I knew everything was possible. I just now I'm in a better situation because I'm in America.
What's interesting about that is the leverage that gratitude gives you in a situation.
Oh yeah.
Right? So you're saying you come out of a situation where you didn't have hot water, you land in the bottom of America in the housing projects, and what you're saying is, wow, hot water.
Hot water.
Right?
Yeah.
Man, if I got hot water, I could do this, or I could do that, I could imagine this, or I could imagine that. And I guess that spirit has infected and affected every choice you've made thereafter.
Well, I don't think Americans understand poverty, right? I mean, you could do anything here. You could be born in this country and in one lifetime change your whole class structure, right? So if you want to stay there, people in America say you can stay there. If you want to grow, they'll let you grow. If you're at the top of your game, you can still get higher, right? So you could do anything here. And that's why I love this show. I mean, anything's possible, right? Especially in this country.
Let's take a break. My guest is Stan Johnson. More in a moment.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up,
making that kind of money from a project kid, much less a third world kid, wasn't supposed to happen, right? So now it's happening, and I'm the man. It's almost another form of poverty.
The surge upward in your spirit. Your mom and your dad put that in you.
Oh yeah.
Working together as a family to accomplish something. Where are your parents now?
Well, my dad passed on. My mom lives here in Knoxville. She's 86. Matter of fact, she just came from Jamaica the other day. She spends her summers, or her winters in Jamaica from December to about April. And hopefully I'll be doing that same thing one of these days.
Who had the biggest impact on who you are and how you are?
Wow, that's a good one. It depends. I get my doggedness from my dad. I want to get there, right? I want to make sure that when we get there that it's going to be great and it's going to be the best and it's going to be blessed, right? My mom is more of the optimist. She's always leaning on God, always putting God first, making sure that you understand that you have no power. This flesh suit, as she calls it, will fail, but the internal of you will always exist forever. And without God, you can't get that, right? And because of her, I was able to think past the realms of impossibilities, right? Where somebody told me I couldn't go to college because poor people don't go to college. She said, baby, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want.
When I met you, there was this auto dealership. I think the word super was in it. Stan Johnson, super Auto Center.
Yes.
But I didn't know like your backstory. Yeah. You went to Knoxville College. So you end up going to college.
Oh yeah, definitely. The thing with that project portion of it growing up is like, if I don't do this, I'm gonna have to stay here, right? So that was my next step to get to where I wanted to go to ultimately. But really getting to Knoxville College and around some wonderful people. You know, my pastor went to Knoxville College. Danny Mayfield was at Knoxville College with me.
Danny,
you
man.
know, Leonard Adams, the president of Knoxville College, currently was in school. Matter of fact, we're fraternity brothers. So I had some wonderful young people with so much energy that was going to end up being great people anyway, that it just made sense to stick around them. You know, so That's the big thing. My mama told me when I got to college, find 5 people that study. She said, well, what happened to you? I said, I became the 6th one. So get around people that's going to places where you want to go.
I love this proverb. There's a proverb that says, he who walks with the wise grows wise, but a companion of fools suffers harm. So the evidence of wise friendship is growth, right? You start to grow. Yeah. So you grow, you end up in the auto business.
Yeah, so.
And what's interesting though is trajectory. You come from the bottom, you're seeking the top, you're in America, you see that anything is possible, there's opportunity, the money.
Oh yeah.
Why'd you pick the auto business?
Well, I mean, it was fastest, right? It reminded me all the hood stuff that I was dealing with.
Did you make a lot of money?
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, when I first started, I graduated in 1995, and it was like right at the best time to be in the car business. 1998 actually ended up being the best car year ever. Housing market was big, stock market was big, everybody was making money. So when you make money, you just buy cars. You don't care what kind of car, you just buy cars. As a matter of fact, the more cars you have, the bigger you are as a whatever, you know. So it was fun too, right? And sold cars for 3 years, financed cars for 3 years, became a finance director. And then the next step was actually to become like a general manager, a general sales manager. But I skipped that. I went straight to ownership.
You went straight to that bag.
Straight to the bag.
What was it like starting your own dealership?
Well, I had some fantastic partners, J.D. Jackson, my brother LeRae Johnson. They made it possible as well, right? Because you don't want to, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go with others. So my brother was just retiring out the Marine Corps, heads up to all the service officers and men and women that serve our great country. What we were trying to do was actually become bigger, right? We wanted to start out as a used car dealer and mechanic shop and start doing small things, and we started buying a couple houses here and a couple houses there. We started renting out some stuff here, and before you know, we had 2 or 3 different kinds of income, and it was just, money was everywhere, right? So it was just more.
What kind of money?
About $800 a year.
From Jamaica, right?
Yeah.
To that?
Yeah.
Man, that had to blow your mind.
Blew it. I was gone.
And you were there.
Yeah.
And that was just, you were looking at that and you were like, I can 10X this easy.
Oh, easy. This is what America's built on. The more you work, the harder you work, the more people you meet, the more opportunity you get. Well, that's what they call lucky, right? So you show up. And when you show up, pretty soon you can start showing out. And that's where we were at. We were really at the top of the game at that point.
Take a second to just talk about how work ethic propelled success.
Yeah.
How picking fruit early in the morning, how you were able to leverage that way.
People very rarely work hard. They always talk about, I'd rather work smart than hard and this, that. Nothing like hard work, right? Because it'll tell you a couple of things. One, it'll tell you if you want to do it or not, right? I did not want to pick oranges, man. That was not going to be for me. Did not want to wake up early in the morning to go work for somebody else. That wasn't for me. But I wanted to work, but I wanted to do it for me. You know, that's been my biggest difference was really wanting to do that stuff for me. My dad, he was fine working for somebody else because it was better than not having a job. And because he had a job, he could take care of all these things that we were missing or lacking in Jamaica, right? But we were the second generation. We were supposed to be better. You know, we were talking about your grandfather a second ago. My grandfather's never even seen, or even, my grandmother didn't believe white people were real. You know, that's
really?
Yes, that's, I mean, in the swamps in Jamaica, you don't see tourists that come in, you know, so how you gonna see them? She was born in 1911. America didn't even probably know nothing about Jamaica in 1911. But those are the kind of things that we had to get through, right? Because again, when I talk about poverty, I don't just talk about it in financial ways. I talk about it in emotions. I talk about it in health. I talk about it in just your relationships, right? We're poor people, and we don't want to face that fact sometimes, and we run away from it. So we try to look rich, right? We'll buy those nice cars. We'll buy those nice homes. But we have all kind of other issues, right? our emotions are going crazy. We have people stepping on people's shoes and shooting each other. Like, that's not a rational thing to do. So we have to really start thinking about how we view poverty in this country as well.
What does it mean to be rich?
For me, it's my family. It's the instillment of my relationship with God. I mean, if you know how rich your Heavenly Father is, how can you even think about being poor? I mean, Jesus wasn't thinking about this world. He said, save your riches up for what? Right? So you have to start thinking about what rich means. And is it just the world riches, or you're looking at heavenly riches, right? So I couldn't have bought a relationship with my mom, care how much money I got. But that woman loves me, man. I mean, I'm her baby boy. She is one of them, oh, look at him, he's the greatest, you know. So when I think of my dad's pride of seeing me walk across that stage and get my college education, I mean, how do you buy that kind of stuff?
Stan, what amazes me about your story and your journey is started at the bottom, swamps of Jamaica, come to America, you figure out capitalism really works. You get on that rocket ship and you're headed up, and then in the middle of all of that, you decide, I'm going back to the bottom to help people. What the heck? Well,
wow.
What we doing?
We had the boy. Oh my goodness. Oh hell. I mean, it was all I can say is a God thing.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, man, it wasn't my decision, you know.
What do you mean by that?
So when you're on that rocket ship, you forget who's flying, right? So you really think that you got your hands on the wheel and you think you're the one driving this ship. And you're not. Like I said, this too will fail.
You
right?
felt it though.
Oh, I was on it.
Stan, I'm telling you, you had that swag.
Yeah.
It was Stan Johnson super.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
And you walk with that swag.
Yeah. It was fun.
Which fraternity are you in?
Oh, Omega Psi Phi.
Yeah. We
man.
understand. It's just all swag.
All swag. Yeah. But when it's more bravado more than it is, it's almost another form of poverty, right?
Say more.
So when you get that far, you start thinking that you're God. You're the one doing this. You're the one made this happen. I'm the one such and such. And you start hearing, think of the name, Stan Johnson. I mean, I wasn't thinking about no God, I'm thinking about me, right? And making that kind of money from a project kid, much less a third world kid, it wasn't supposed to happen, right? So now it's happening, and I'm the man. Well, started arguing with God, and he started telling me, "No, man, I'm the man." Huh? I'm the one graduated college, and I'm the one that got the job at Ted Russell, and I'm the one that did this, and I'm the one that did that. And all of a sudden he said, "So you the one that got you born in that wonderful family? You the one that helped you get from Jamaica to here? You the one that," oh, okay.
God broke you down?
All the way down. All the way down.
When you say all the way down, what do you mean by all the way down?
Well,
what happened?
He actually even took me out of my body. He took me to a grassy plain where I was pursuing some stuff. As you were saying, I was on a trajectory. We were actually in the process of buying a GMC truck store in Athens, Tennessee. And I was talking to the people in Detroit about how much money to borrow and how much money that we could loan. And it's right at the same time where the housing crisis and the car crisis is about to crash this country. This 2006, 2007, 8, all that kind of stuff. And I was being interviewed by the Entrepreneur magazine of the country. And in this vision, we're talking about the empowerment zone funding and all that kind of stuff, because our car dealership was inside the empowerment zone. And I can remember being photographed by the camera, and I'm up there posing, you know, swagged out like you was just saying. And the last flash that came out of the camera was God. Just so bright, I had to lay prostrate on the ground, broke all the way down.
Really?
All the way down. And when I thought about that moment, I said, what's going on, God? What do you want me to do? He said, man, you know, I kicked the guy out of heaven for this stuff that you're doing.
Ooh.
I said, what?
Wait a minute. Pride was what, I mean, I have a lot of friends who are from Jamaica, and they stand tall. And that's your leverage, though, that confidence, that lion.
That lion.
But you're telling me that the thing that was set up to make you was the thing that would break you.
Oh, yeah.
Tell you what, we got to do a part 2. Let's take a break.
Okay.
We come back, next episode, we're going to pick up this story because I remember the moment. I remember something shifted and it changed what you believed was possible, what you were shooting for.
Yeah.
And it changed the purpose of your life. Let's take a break. Next episode, folks, you'll hear the rest of this story. This is Anything is Possible.